Welcome all, my name is Joe Downey, Director of Golf here at Jonathan's Landing. I'm very pleased to sit alongside Brad Faxon to introduce the first installment of drone footage we have of our new golf course being built at Old Trail. The footage you'll see is focused on number 1 and 18, where most progress has been made on the shaping of the fairways, the bunkers, the greens, really the most progress we've seen so far. So excited to get going, and Brad, thank you for joining us.
So what's sensational about the finishing hole and the starting hole? Number 1 is the one closest to the pond working here. We're going up the first fairway in the drone. You see right in between where those carts are, that'll be some shaped up areas. It'll have some native areas. And as we move closer to the tree, this is about the landing area. And you can see some generally roughed out areas for a bunker there on the right and a bigger bunker on the left. And then a pretty demanding and really kind of I don't know if it's an intimidating second shot, but a choice second shot. Am I going to lay up? Am I going to carry this bunker? You can see the bulldozer on the side of the first green, and we're trying to limit balls from going in the water. There's a lot of catch basins. There's a lot of sand around there, and you can see how beautiful this opening hole is going to be. And now as we take the movement back, you can see what we just talked about on the left. That's your first hole. This is the 18th hole. I love how they are parallel to each other, both par 5s, or maybe one's a par 5, one's a par 4, depending on wind and what we want to do. But there's that big sloppy bow tie, I'll call it, bunker on the left. It's a huge feature. You want to drive it closer to this pine tree in between the edge of the bunker. And depending on the winds, Joe, your prevailing wind comes from the golfer's left here, from the water, and it blows across this hole from left to right.
Right.
And other times when you get the challenge, one of these holes is always going to be more difficult than the other.
I mean, you're going to have equal opportunity and then equal challenge, depending on the day, which will be a unique test, with the holes running parallel in opposite directions.
Right.
So there's a lot of chance there, but also opportunity to take advantage of.
Yeah, and look at this green. There's a lot of slope from back to front on this green, 2 deep bunkers on the left side, and just really exciting to see what's going on and how quickly the progress is being made out there.
All right, Brad, now we're looking at a lower vantage point to number 1, a lower flyover here. And if you can elaborate a little bit on the concept of the teeing areas, and that might mean be a little bit different than the traditional style teeing pad, and how that'll tie into the concept of the golf course.
Exactly. You can see in the foreground here, these little piles of dirt here, Joe, that'll be pushed down. And instead of traditional squared off or rectangular tee boxes, the idea here with Gil and Jim is to create what they like to call a ribbon tee box, where it's one height of cut. There's a bunch of options where you can move the tee boxes, so it's not just limited to a certain square footage or an area. And the tee boxes here on the first will move from the lower right side of your picture out towards the middle, so the lesser skilled golfer will not have to contend with any corner of this little pond here on your right. And as we move forward towards the little front loader there, the tees will move up there a little bit more to the left than the middle of the picture here, and you'll have a tee shot that'll push you away from that tree, so that tree is 30 to 40 yards from the center of the fairway. To right about here, the center of your picture is your landing area, big bunker on the left. There's one up here on the right that you probably won't reach, but you'll have to decide whether you're going to go over it or around it. And then now the second shot gets interesting. And this is what's great about the design concept out here, the options you can play, whether you're going to stay short of these bunkers, go to the right of these bunkers. And one of the features here is an old template called a dustpan. You see the big mound over there on the right. Balls will be able to be kicked to the left there and run up onto this relatively small green. Now, because it's a shorter par 5, the green doesn't have to be big. We don't want balls going in the water, so over to the right there's bunkers, and over the green we're going to try and stop balls from rolling in the water. But this green is going to slope back to front. There's going to be a lot of movement in here. And now as the drone changes to the view of 18, and these 2 holes, one's going to be a par 5, one could be an option par 4, par 5, and depending on the wind direction, you said earlier, the prevailing wind comes out of the northeast, sometimes it's out of the southeast, and one of these holes will play relatively easier than the other. But again, you'll get a great view here of this big bunker feature and complex that's in the middle that we've said it before, a lot of the great golf courses shared fairways and would have this joint feature. It almost kind of, when you look here at this, it looks like a sloppy bow tie, or doesn't it, or a bird's wings, that big notch there right in the middle. If you happen to hit a drive in this bunker, you could get a flatter lie with some room to hit it out over the lip and advance it close to the green or onto the green, or you might be mad at yourself where you're going to have to hit a little wedge just to get it back in play. But this view here from the first fairway looks, west towards the 18th fairway. That area there is going to be 15, 16 on the center, and over to the left, the little practice fields where the alternate holes are going to finish on both sides. We've created 20 holes, so there's an alternate 7A and 16A, and again, all kinds of options out here at Old Trail on this match play course, which I know is going to raise some eyebrows. What does that mean? The questions. And Gil and Jim designed one of the best new courses in the world just a few years ago up in Georgetown and Cobbtown, Georgia, called Ohoopee, the river in Georgia, called the Ohoopee Match Play. And it was an original idea from years and years ago that golf was meant to be played as a match, not necessarily as a score. And Gil and Jim have done a lot of that at so many of the courses where they've been fortunate enough to work at the Creek Club, at Fisher's Island.
Right.
I know they've worked at Mountain Lake, was through Seth Rayner's course, and they've been all over the world, not only helping to renovate some of the old courses, but to study the old courses and these great features. And to think that you're going to have this here at Old Trail, it's pinch myself.
Yeah.
Pinch myself. Great stuff.
It's exciting.
You will have something here that will be hard to find anywhere else in Florida.
Thanks, Brad.